Alright gang, welcome to my very first ever Christmas special. Now this is going to be a little bit different than what we typically would run, mostly just for fun. Probably will be a little bit of a shorter episode, we'll see how it goes. But what we're going to do for this one is we are going to incorporate AI in the decision making for starting our farm. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to utilize Novel AI, which this is not an ad for them at all. I'm not sponsored by them, nothing like that. This is just what I'm utilizing. Basically, it'll insert text into something that you basically state. So we're going to utilize that to our advantage, and we're going to talk to old Walter White here. This is Walter White, the white car. This is that's who I'm going to say this is who it is, even though I'm not positive that's who it is. We're going to say that's who it is. It's Walter White, who's basically going to play as our AI individual, who's going to make the decisions for us on how we start this off. So, let's get started right off the bat here. First question I'm going to ask him. You are looking to purchase a farm, but you need a recommendation on what plot of land you should purchase. You say to Walter, "Good day, sir. I need to buy a plot of land. What numbered plot do you recommend?" He strokes his chin for a moment. "I can think of several good plots in the northern and eastern portions of town," he says. "There's a particular good one in the northern section of town, and I've also heard of good things about the land to the east, but there's one in the northwest which is particularly attractive at the moment. I've got a brochure if you're interested." With that information, I think what we're going to do, and I've already done it, is purchase plot 69. So that's the one we're going to own, plot 69. Don't worry about the money or anything like that for now. I've kind of done all of this preliminarily, right? So I've had this conversation with preliminary. I'm just kind of reading through it with you so you can understand how it went, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm going to purchase field 69 based off this information you just gave me. That is a canola field. You ask Walter, "Do you have a recommendation on a John Deere tractor I should purchase?" He strokes his chin for a moment. Again, he likes to stroke his chin, evidently. "If it's just a tractor you want, the Fordson is the obvious choice. It's a bit expensive, but the engine's reliable, the steering's comfortable, and the exhaust is quiet. Of course, there are other brands you could look into. I've heard good things about the Oliver, the Farmall, and the Allison Chalmers, but I have to say the Fordson is your best bet." Upon further research into this, Oliver tractors were purchased by the White Motor Company. Is this a conspiracy that he's throwing at us right now? Eventually, the White Motor Company was purchased by AGCO. We are getting closer, but we got to get a little bit deeper here. So AGCO is a partner with MF, Valtra, and Fendt. Based off of that information, I'm going to purchase one of those. And to be specific, I'm going to purchase, well, I don't really want to show you because I've kind of already did some of this preliminary just to help save me some time. But I purchased this Valtra S series right here. Big tractor, big tractor, big tractor. With the upgraded horsepower as well, so it's got 420. Alright, now I ask him, I need a harvester to work the field. You ask Walter, what would you recommend for a harvester to harvest a canola field? It depends on the size of the field, he says. For small fields, the Massey Ferguson is probably your best bet. It's fairly cheap and quite reliable. However, you might want to consider something a bit more expensive, like the New Holland or the Caterpillar for larger fields. I didn't realize Caterpillar made harvesters. Maybe they do. They're not in the game. Maybe they do make them. Maybe somebody can answer that in the comments down below. We're going to go with that Massey Ferguson that we utilize in almost every series, the cheap one. It does make a lot of sense, I think. Alright, now I ask him, I do need to get a seed drill to replant the field with a crop. You ask Walter, what about a seeder drill? Do you have any recommendations for those? That's a bit outside my expertise, he says, but the John Deere and the Fordson both make them. If you want to grow more than one crop in the same year, though, you should probably consider a multi-crop cultivator. You can use a seeder drill or a multi-crop cultivator for planting, weeding, fertilizing, and cultivating field all at once. That's interesting. I didn't realize they could do all of that, but okay, Walter, whatever you say, buddy. So we're going to purchase, or we purchased, I guess already, I purchased this T-Force, this Novag. I've never utilized it. It's a new piece of equipment in FS25. Felt like a perfect time to use it. Very expensive, though. Very expensive. But we purchased it nonetheless. With that tiny field we have, it'll take us seconds to re-drill it. Alright, now I need a trailer to store that harvested canola crop. You ask Walter, do you have a recommendation for a trailer to be pulled by my tractor that can hold harvested canola? He nods. For a John Deere, a Massey Ferguson is probably the easiest to use. What? He says, but the Oliver, again with the Oliver, he's got some advantages as well. I'd have to say either one's a good bet. I go to him, what about a choice between a Farm Tech, a Crample, or a Rudolph? Mainly because John Deere or Massey Ferguson in the game does not have a trailer. Neither does Oliver, so there's no option there. He said, I'm not familiar with any of those. I said, so you can have your choice, I can have my choice of any of those. He nods. I'll write up a contract then, he says. You just fill it out with whatever you want, and I'll see what I can do. Whatever I want, huh? Okay, Walter, well, you're being awful nice considering how mean you are on the roads to me. Next up, I'm going to ask him if I'm able to skip time in the game to be able to harvest, so I can skip 3, 4, 5 months, whatever I want. Are you able to skip time in the game to be able to harvest your crops? I asked Walter. He laughs. Well, there's not much I can do about the weather, he says. I'll just need a week or two to set everything up. If you're not going to plant your own crops, then it's really just a matter of getting the contract signed. I can get the land ready, but if the weather's bad, it'll slow down the growth. That doesn't even make any sense to what I asked. There's not much I can do about the weather, even though I said, can I speed up time? Okay, whatever. I guess it does make sense. He's probably thinking that I'm talking about in general. Can I figure out a way? Sorry, gang, hit the microphone. Can I figure out a way to speed up the actual growing period of the crop? It's probably what he's meaning, or probably what the text AI is thinking. I said, okay. I'm going to basically tell him so I can use that as my discretion. And he says, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Finally, I need to purchase a liquid fertilizer spreader. Walter, do you have any ideas of what kind I should buy? Not really, he says. And then I go on to say, what about the one from Amazone? He says, I've never heard of that, he says. You could probably just use the one that comes with the tractor, but I'm not sure that would be what that would do to the land. I didn't know one came with the tractor, but okay, thank you, Walter. So then you're free to buy the Amazon one then. I say, I'm free to buy the Amazone one then. Okay, he says, that's everything then? So let me show you what I'm buying. The sprayer I'm buying is this guy right here, the UX5201 Super. It's a pretty nice one. We're just going the 30-meter width, nothing crazy there. I say that should do it for now. Oh, one last thing to say to you, Walter. Do you have any farming tips or stories before I go? No, that should be everything, he says. Thanks for stopping by and have a nice day. He's done talking to me. Walter is done with me. All right, well, there you go. So that's how we're starting this out. Now, a couple of notes here before we move on. Any big decision, and what I mean by big decision is if I purchase a new land, I purchase new equipment, speed up time, etc. All of that has to go through Walter and through AI. AI is going to make that decision for me. I cannot make the decisions. Now, some of the smaller stuff, like buying fertilizer, buying, whatever, like buying just the stuff you need for your pieces of machinery, that I'm allowed to do without any question at all. I'm allowed to harvest things when I want to. I can plow things when I want to, all of that. But if I want to buy a new plot of land, I want to buy a new piece of equipment, something like that, all has to go through AI. AI has to make that decision for me. Now, I'm not sure how far we'll get into adding or buying more land on this little Christmas special here. We'll see how long the episode goes for, and we'll make our decision there. But if this is something that is interesting to you and that you think would be a fun series, let me know down below. I'm considering throwing it in as a series every once in a while. It's certainly not something that I could do every single week. It does take a while to edit this, so let me know down below, though, and if this does well enough, then we'll certainly consider implementing it at some point every once in a while. So, with all of that said, let me get everything to Field 69. Let's get everything set up there, and we'll go from there. We don't have any storage, anything like that, so if we have to put down a shed, well, I'm saying if we have to, we probably will. We'll need to come back here and talk to Walter about that. But for now, let's get everything there. We can get started on the harvesting and move on from there. All right, I got everything back here. Let's kind of talk through it here a little bit here, gang. I kind of went through the AI stuff, but I showed you what we were going to be purchasing, but didn't really show you the full details. So let's show you the full details. Here's the Novag I was talking about. Pretty much as that was before, but has plenty of seeds and fertilizer in there. Many in there. More than we'll need probably for at least the beginning of this, if it becomes a series or not, or if it's just a one-off special. Pretty nice, man. It's a huge drill. And it allows direct drilling, so I don't have to do any kind of cultivation. Then we got this sprayer, which we talked about as well, the UX5201 Super. I've got liquid fertilizer in there now. I also purchased some herbicide that is at the shop, so that is why the amount dropped from where we had left off at. Here's the Vultra, and I got a sweet little Michelin designed or livery on the Crampy trailer, so kind of cool. Love the little Michelin Tyler guy. He's just holding on to some, I don't even know, I guess it's wheat, isn't it? I guess so. Kind of looks like a peanut there, but I guess it's wheat. I don't know. Anyway, pretty cool. I like it a lot. And then this Vultra is really nice, the S416. It's got 420 horsepower, and we're going to need it. We're going to need it for that drill we got. That drill we got is heavy duty. This Massey Ferguson, we utilize it a lot. It's 8570. I thought about going for the bigger one that he kind of mentioned, that Walter kind of mentioned, the AI kind of mentioned, right? But that would have taken every bit of money we had, and we would not have been able to even do anything. So that wasn't going to work. Nope, 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 nope. Alright, we should be all set up now. And we can get started here. Now, it's not a very big field. We do have some land behind us, so we might end up having to maybe purchase a drill, or I say a drill, sorry. We might have to end up purchasing a plow of some sort, right, to kind of expand the field or make another small field, whatever we decide to do. But I also kind of think we should put down a shed back there for our equipment, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about this special a little bit here, gang. So this is just for fun. There's nothing. If you guys enjoyed enough, maybe we, like I said, maybe we will turn it into a series. Again, it will not be a standard weekly series, but you know, a series that pops up every once in a while, whenever the time permits. If you're new and you're just stumbling across this, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that good stuff. If you're enjoying it so far, it'll help me out. It's free. And yeah, so this is just my kind of thank you to you for the whole year, for watching me for the whole year, and then being a subscriber and being a part of the gang here, and something a little fun to kind of close out the year here, and a very merry Christmas to all of you. Hopefully you're able to get together with family, friends, all that good stuff. And if you're not, I'm here for you, right? I'm here for you. Now, it is August. Canola is not going to be best to sell in August, so we've got a couple of choices we're going to have to make there, right? Are we going to just hold on to it, or are we going to sell it? Considering it's just kind of a one-off special here, we'll probably just sell it. We're not going to make a ton of money off of it. The money's not really part of this, really. I mean, it is, but it's not really, it doesn't really matter that much, right? To an extent, it doesn't matter that much. This is, you know, we're just having some fun with AI and having AI make our decisions, well, make the main decisions for us, at least. Now, certainly a couple of those I've had to kind of, you know, take it and run with it a little bit to try to make it make sense for the game. Because it doesn't know. AI doesn't know that I'm playing Farming Simulator. I mean, I said that, but when I was initially setting everything up, but it doesn't know. It doesn't really understand that yet. I mean, at some point, I think AI will understand all of that, but at current, they don't, so. It's just something fun, right? Something fun to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to harvest this field. When we get it harvested, I might just keep it in the actual harvester for a little while, and we're going to jump straight into re-drilling the field. We'll probably, more than likely, need to spray it with herbicide, and I think I put fertilizer in our sprayer at current. So that means we'll have to unload that up here somewhere and then head back to the shop and pick up the herbicide, but no big deal. We'll have to bring it back here anyway at some point, right? Or at least in your typical series, you would have to anyway. I decided to do Zielonka. Initially, I was going to do maybe Riverbend Springs, but I'm doing a couple series on Riverbend Springs already, and then I thought, well, let's do Hunten Pantai. It just wasn't working out on there, unfortunately. The way that I was wanting to set this up, the way that I wanted to start this off at the beginning here, it was not as, what's the word I'm looking for? Easy is not the word I'm looking for. It wasn't as successful, I guess, as when I was setting it up, trying it out, just running a few tests, because obviously I ran a few tests on this before I started this as well. I just wanted to make sure that what I was... My crazy ideas that come up in my head, what if they were actually going to work or not. And maybe this isn't working as well as I probably could make it, but, you know, this is the first time trying anything crazy like this, so we can, if it's successful and everybody enjoys it, we can flesh it out as we carry along, right? Doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. Now, we don't have a ton of money left. You know, if we sell this canola, we'll probably get, I don't know, August is not a best time to sell it by any means, but we'll probably get, I don't know, somewhere in the realm of, you know, I would say $8,000-ish, maybe a little less than that, probably. So it's not like we're going to make a ton of money here. We might get over $30,000 if we're lucky. Some of these plots that are near us are not that expensive, but I think they are a little bit more than $30,000. So if we do decide to carry it on, right, we'll probably have to make the decision about, you know, or asking Walter, or AI in this instance, asking him about potentially doing contracts. Are we allowed to do contracts? Because if he says no, guess what? We can't do them, right? That's a big decision. Things like that all have to be required to go through an AI question and answer situation. In this case, like I've said, our AI companion here is Walter White. I just think it's hilarious that during the process of that conversation, he's wanting me to buy product from the White Company. It's hilarious to me. Okay, so this is done here, so we'll go ahead and just set it here now. I can't fold it up because there's actually, you know, canola in there, but that's okay. Now, I would have loved to have some of the old tractors and stuff specifically he was asking me to purchase, but they're just not currently out here yet, so we just have to kind of play around that, right? Figure out ways around it as best we can. Let's put in... Let's do wheat. Let's do some wheat. Now, if this is successful, and maybe we just do it every once in a while during, you know, special holidays, like Christmas again, right? Perhaps by then, maybe there'll be some other pieces of equipment out here that we could utilize a little bit better, right? If they bring up something that maybe is a little bit closer to it. It may not be exactly the same, but you get what I mean. All right, we are underway re-drilling this field. This is a nice drill. This is a really nice drill. It's quite a wide width, honestly. Holds a lot. This is good. Now, I'm not going to go, since it's such a small field, I'm not even going to go the traditional path here. I'm just going to kind of go up and down here, because there's plenty of room for me to go up and down. I don't really need to do a headland pass. If I did a headland pass with this, we pretty much would be done already, right? So we're just going to kind of go your traditional up and downs. Now, there's some good stuff going on the channel right now. If you're new, you're just stumbling across this video, and you haven't watched anything else I got going on, I've currently got a survival challenge that I'm doing on New Frontier, which is the first custom-made map that has come out on ModHub. I play on console, so I don't have the access to a lot of the mods and everything else that a lot of PC players have, but nonetheless, that is the first one that I've had access to. We're having a lot of fun with it. It's been difficult, given the fact of what I've already mentioned on this episode itself, right? Where there are very little in the ways of cheap, small equipment out on ModHub at current. So it's very difficult to start a survival type of challenge series. But we're making it work. We're making it work with what we got. I also have a farm maze challenge. A little bit of shameless plugs here, real quick, gang. For those of you that watch me all the time, bear with me for a minute. Doing a farm maze challenge, where basically we're trying to bring a farm maze back to its glory days. It's a farm maze that's basically been left abandoned. And so we have to kind of build it up, add things to the maze, you know, put a fence around the maze, add a shed for, you know, purchasing stuff, a little shop, whatever you want to call it, right? Just we have to kind of build all of that up. And then we have a triple threat challenge, which was a challenge that came out of my mind. And basically, the way that works is we utilize a randomizer to pick a couple of different threats, as I'm calling them, but basically it's just objectives or challenges versus within it. And kind of the way it works is there's 3 different sections. One is a loan, right? So you put every loan amount into a randomizer and it'll populate one, and whatever you get, that's what you get. Could be 100,000, could be 1,000,000. The other one is you randomize all of the animals, right? So you incorporate one of those animals. Obviously not bees and the dog, obviously, because there's really no maintenance required to those, but anything that requires maintenance. And then the final thing was you put every crop in a randomizer, and then whatever crop you get, and in my case for that series I got green beans, whatever crop you get, you need to mark down every field that has that crop in it at the start, and then you have to purchase that field and then also harvest and re-drill that field with that same crop. So if the beginning, for example, let's say in my instance I got 2 fields, they're relatively large fields, but 2 fields that were both green beans, so I had to mark those numbers down, and eventually, I haven't done it yet, we're not even near it, but eventually we're going to get to a point where we have to purchase those fields. Excuse me. And then I'll have to, if they don't have green beans in them at the time, I will have to plant green beans and harvest those green beans. If they have green beans in the time and I get lucky, great, I got to harvest it, then I've got to replant the green beans. No leasing whatsoever. So it's a difficult one. Then there's also some side challenges as well that are in the description. One's building the temple, and I've heard that will take an absolute eternity, so we'll see. But some fun things on the channel. Let's put it like that. So if you happen to be new, like I said, consider giving me a follow, give me a subscription. There's some fun stuff going on. All right, the field has been re-drilled here, gang. So we can go ahead and fold this up. We really much used nothing. I didn't need to buy as much as I did, but I'd rather have a ton in case this series continues on in the future, right? I'd rather just have it all taken care of now. So I believe I'm going to need to unload this. I'm kind of trying to figure out where I want to put a shed at, because I do think I want to put a shed in. We're going to have to talk to Walter, though, because if he says I can't put a shed in, well, we're screwed. We can't put a shed in. It's as simple as that. So let's unload that there. Let me look at this really quick. I would suspect it does need... Actually, it says it doesn't. Okay, well, how about that? I was expecting it to say it needs herbicide, but it does not. All right, well, then it's as simple as we can go talk to Walter now and see about a shed. So let's go have a little conversation with him and see what he says. And if he says yes, but he gives us a certain, whatever it is, an option color, whatever it is, we may not have enough money to it. That means we have to build up and get to that point. You want to purchase a shed to put on your property, you ask. Do you have a recommendation on what color of shed I should put down? You give Walter the color options of gray, green, red, white, brown, and tan. He considers the question. Well, that depends, he says. Red and brown are both fairly traditional, but gray and white are more practical, and tan would probably blend in better with the land. Which one would you pick, I ask again. He shrugs. I don't really have a preference. Okay, well, we can pick whatever we want then, based off of that statement. Alright, so let's see here. I mean, we got $23,000. I want to spend a ton here. I think something smaller would be better. Would that fit the harvester? Probably not. It won't... Well, yeah, I think it would, actually. I think it would. It would really only fit... well, maybe one other thing, actually, now that I'm looking at this. I don't know if I could fit both of those in there. It'd be a tight squeeze, I think. There. Maybe you can. Alright, so we'll go with this one then. This is fine. We'll go with this one. I think I'm going to put it here. I think I'm going to turn toggle free mode on. I don't really care if it's partially in the ground or not. It doesn't really bother me that much, even though maybe it should. I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of thinking maybe going like this, on the side, like this. Something like this. Might be better. That'll work. We're going there. Perfect. Alright, so we can put this in here then. Well, first of all, we want to unload this, first of all. But then we can put the harvester in there, unload it into the trailer. Oh boy, we kind of screwed up here, didn't we? Oh boy. Oh, that is way in the air. Oh. Whoops. I didn't realize that was going to happen. Well, that sucks, gang. I don't think I'm going to be able to unload this into this trailer. Oh, ooh, only just, but I'm going to have to be at a certain angle for that. We might have to put down a... Well, it probably won't happen here in this special, but if we were to continue it on, we might have to put down some kind of like a ramp or something to give this some room, because that is... Oof. It is not... It's not realistic at all. Huh. Okay, well, I guess I should have paid attention to that. That was on me. And just gloss over the shed there being up in the air. I'll try to fix that. Okay, so let's back all this stuff in here, because really we don't need any of this out in the open right now. Yeah, I like where it's at. I just wish I would have maybe not turned on the... I didn't think it was going to... Normally when I do that, it just kind of goes into the ground. It doesn't put it up in the air like that, so... Really didn't care if part of the shed was, you know, slightly lower than the other because it was in the ground more. That didn't really bother me. It's just kind of sinking in the ground, right? I could make a story about it sinking in the ground, but... Well, this is a terrible job here, Zeke. Back it up, buddy. Back it up. There you go. Dummy. Okay, so once we're done with this, we're going to go take and we're going to go sell that canola. Let's see how much money we get. Hopefully it's enough to pay for the shed. That would be ideal if we had enough money there to pay off the shed that we put down, right? Yeah, there's enough room for both of these in here. That's really the two things we need to keep undercover more than any of the... Well, those are the three things we need to keep undercover. The trailer and the tractor don't necessarily need to be undercover. Alright, where are we going to sell the canola at? Let's figure that out. Let's see... Canola. Here we go. Yeah, it's pretty much the worst it could be right now. Farmer's Market is 2604. That is where we are going. Let's head to the Farmer's Market. So yeah, just something fun here, gang. Something a little different, right? Trying to change it up a little bit and have a little bit of fun at the expense of AI. It was actually better than I was expecting it to be. I'm going to be honest with you. I had thought that we were going to get a lot worse options and less chances to make this succeed. But I mean, it's all, you know, randomized by whatever the AI decides it wants to do from the text, right? It's not like it's... I mean, I can kind of try to help move things along like I did there at the end with the shed, right? I can say, hey, because AI is not going to have any idea what I mean when I give them, you know, custom-made shed, right? Because a lot of the stuff I have installed, well, I say a lot, 1/3, I would say, of the things I have installed are all custom-made sheds. So if I was to tell AI, hey, I've got this custom-made shed, it's going to be like, I don't understand. So I think sometimes you have to kind of give AI some options like that, where I say, here's some colors. Pick a color for me, and then I will go from there, right? $7,471. I think that's what I said we were going to get, didn't I? Did I say 7,000 in the beginning? Man, I'm getting good at figuring out these prices. All right, well, gang, that is going to conclude our short, brief Christmas special. I hope you enjoyed it. If this is something you're interested in, don't forget, let me know down below. We'll consider turning this into a partial series every once in a while, kind of a sporadic series that just populates an episode every once in a blue moon. But Let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you are new and stumbling across this. It helps me out an absolute ton. It's the last free, one of the last free things you can do in the world. So smash those buttons for me. Helps me out a lot. Dislike it if you don't like it. I guess that will help me know not to spend all the effort and time on this if you didn't like it and it wasn't enjoyable. But yeah, we'll leave it there. More videos in the corners for you to check out, and I'll catch you in the next one.